Tina, you didn't mess up at all. The reason why that looks black to you is it's not really black. I'm just going to take off the color and the color. It's just the fact that it was already dark here on the Jeep Cherokee lettering. It's not chrome, it's actually dark lettering on the light car, right? So when you turn on this big gray layer here on top of it, it just gets darker, right? So when you add color to it, it even looks black, but it's not really, it just needs to have the hole cut. But here's the problem. You see these almost like a halo around all the letters? We got to fix that. And I'll show you how to fix that, but instead of hitting the delete key, we're going to add black to a layer mask. But, and here's my but, we need to, and it's going to only take a minute, just 1 minute. We need to make a new one of these layers. So I'm going to throw away layer 2. Just throw it away. Okay? So with this image selected right there, do the same thing you did before. Control click on outline, Control Alt to subtract outline 3. Okay? And that's all I want you to do. Don't worry about the lettering at the moment. Just, let me do it again. Control click on outline, Control Alt click on outline 3. Good. Now, don't worry about it. Now we're going to hit that Control J. Okay. Now let me turn this off so you can see that's what I have, right? And the lettering is still on there. That's okay. Don't worry about it. So what we're going to do is hit Control L. Now, like before, we're going to bring this dark all the way over. Now we're almost done. Okay, right to there. We're going to bring the white over and we're going to bring the gray tones back like this. Now that's good enough right there. That's perfect. Okay, just click OK. All right, so you can see the dark is by the first little mountain, the white is by the tall little rise there, and the gray I moved over to the right. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. Now we have to re-clip all these layers here. Okay, now let me tell you what you have correct. This one you clipped correctly to that little top part of the Jeep up here, the X part. Okay, this one right here, I'm going to hold Alt and I'm going to clip, I'll turn it on. I'm going to clip color to the new layer 2, and I'm going to clip the hue and saturation as well. Now let's fix these things. So how do we fix them? Well, we click over to here, to this layer 2. We add a blank layer mask. Just add a blank one. It's got to be white. Now, we are going to make a selection by control clicking on the logo right there. Just control click on it. Now, let me move it over and see what else I have. Okay, so that's okay. So now, and I don't care that this one is part of it either. It doesn't matter. Okay, so now on the layer mask, make sure that is selected. See how black is in the foreground color? So go Alt Backspace. Now, do you see how we have cut a hole in there? The hole's too big, but I'm going to show you how to fix it really quick because we actually used an eraser, but we didn't. We used a layer mask with black on it, which is kind of like an eraser, right? So now I'm going to go to your second logo down here. See it? So control click on that. Let's go up to where it is, right here. Now let me zoom in, and let's also click on the layer mask. If black is in the foreground color, let's go Alt Backspace. Okay, now you see how I've cut holes in there. Now I turn on the lower layer, and there's our issue. Our issue is that white shouldn't be there. So how do you get rid of it? Well, here's how you get rid of it. We put too much black on the layer mask. So all we have to do is come close. Look what I'm doing. I'm going to make the brush kind of small, right? I'm going to put it up at 100% flow. 100% flow. I don't usually paint like that, right? And I'm going to right hand click to almost all the way hard. Almost all the way hard. Now, we have to have white because we're actually going to paint on the black on the layer mask, and we're going to fix it. So we hit the X key. Make sure white is in the foreground color, and you know what? My brain made a mistake. I have to hit X and paint black on there. There. I'm sorry. So now you see how I'm taking the white away by adding more black on the layer mask. So let's take the white away here. Let's take the white away here. Now let's go over to this here and take that little light spot away, maybe that one right there, and now that looks good. We probably should take this away right here, right there. So that's painting black on the layer mask, okay? That's fine, that's good. A little bit over here, just a little bit over here and here, okay. And whoops, right here, I guess I'm getting, whoops, I'm getting too much of a perfectionist. Okay, so that looks good, doesn't it? That looks good, right? So look what we did. That's a hole looking through to the Jeep on this layer, right? Okay, so I'm going to click back to the layer mask. Okay, now let's go over to the other one. This one's going to require more fixing, okay? Meaning, do you see where this hole really should be back? So now I'm going to take black and I'm going to put, I'm painting black in there. Now I want to just thin this down. So take your time and make sure you're painting on the layer mask, okay? Use your little space bar to move that over and look at how we're removing all the bright outsides. That's important, okay? We're removing all the bright outsides. Just take your brush, I'm at 100% flow. I'm right hand clicking to almost all the way hard. So wherever you see that outline, see this outline? That needs to get filled in. Okay, that needs to get taken away, that first row. So I'm just taking my brush and I'm doing this. And then I'm going to back off and see how it looks. Okay, let's move over to here. Let's take off this one. So I'm actually painting black on the layer mask, right? I'm increasing what I'm doing to the image. Okay, so let's keep on going. And now let's come around like this. I wanted to get this all on screen so you see how to fix this, okay? There. Now let's go across like this. I probably should come down like this, maybe come across like this. This totally has to be fixed. Let's come over here. Let's come up to the R like this. I think we're okay there. I think we're okay there. Let's go over to the other one, this one. So this is now the other part of the logo. Let's go over here. See how I'm fixing it? Let's go over here. I'm fixing it, I'm painting. Make sure your layer mask is the one selected on that new layer 2. And now this is going to enable us to really fix it nicely. Okay, so now look at, I'm going around the whole thing just to get rid of some of that brightness which doesn't look right, okay, on the logo. Now when I back off on this, like this, that's going to look great. Okay, that's going to look fine. That looks really good. We need to get rid of a little bit right here, so that needs to go back right there. I'll come down like this. This needs to get out of here too, so this needs to go away. That probably could go away. No, I'm going to come Control Z back because I like that. So here, let's take a little bit away from that, and now let's get back on it. Okay, doesn't that look good? That looks now like the lettering on the car. Okay, so here's what the lettering did look like. Here's what we have, okay? Besides, we're back on it so far like this that it really doesn't matter, okay? It's that small. Now, you asked where we are in the movie, but I want to show you what I've done, okay? So, I'm going to tell you what we did again. So get rid of your layer 2, all right? Click, so I'm going to turn it off. I'm turning these off too. You needed to click on this layer, right? Make a control click selection and then subtract by going Control Alt this outline. Don't do the Jeep logo. Don't. Okay? Click on this and hit Control J. That's how we got that layer. Then we use the levels, correct, to make it darker. All right. With nothing selected, we added a layer mask. Now, that made us have to re-clip these two together because when we got rid of that layer, it didn't know what to clip, right? So then you alt-clicked between both of these layers, and now you're back to normal. So I'm going to turn on this. Okay, you asked where are we? Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to make a folder of every one of these. So watch this. I hold Control, and I click, 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 and click. So all 5 of these last 2 aren't needed, all 5 of these are selected. So I control clicked on them all. Now hit a folder. Name it Jeep. Now, save your file. So I hit the return key and I'm saving this file. Remember, there really is no background. Okay, it's on checkerboard. Now I've also opened, look, I've also opened your background. Okay, we want to take the Jeep and put it in this background. So I'm going to go to this one, back to this one, and I'm going to right click on the folder. See this in the gray area of the folder? There's your folder. It's got every bit of the Jeep in it. Right hand click and duplicate the group to your background. Now I can actually go to that one, and there it is. Now we have to size it. You have to size it. So I'm backing off on it. It's awfully big, right? So with this selected, hit Control T. Now, you don't have to hold the Shift key, just shrink it until you feel it's the right size. Just shrink it. And then I'm going to show you where you are in the movie. So I'm going to just make it a little bit bigger, and let's put it right here. And I think, watch what I'm going to do here. Okay, whoops. Let me zoom in. Okay. Now I'm going to turn this a little bit. It should be on that kind of an incline. Now there it is. There's your Jeep in the picture. So if you want to move it around, you hit the V key and you position it down on the road. Now what you're going to do is go to the second movie, and we are right about at the 12-minute 43-second mark. So go to the second movie. Let me show you what it is. Now my job is to turn on that other layer, which doesn't have any color on it, and I can take the V key, click on the entire, I don't want to click on one layer inside, I want to click on the whole folder now, and move it into. See how I've moved, in the movie, I've moved this Jeep to the top of the mountain. Well, in your thing, we just moved this Jeep to the road, correct? So, all you have to do, let me go back to QuickTime, which is right there. All you have to do is what I do from the 1243 mark on. Position. So now it's up to you where you put it. Okay, I want to. Now, the next, you're almost done. You just need to add the shadow. So you're going to have to watch the rest of this movie, which just shows how I actually do a few things, like, for instance, cut a hole in that window so you can see through to the mountain. Well, let's go here. You really don't have to do that because there's so much glare on that windshield that you don't have to cut a hole in the windshield. So basically all you need to do is add a drop shadow. Now, just for the heck of it, I'm going to add your drop shadow. So I'm going to click on the background layer. Watch how easy. I'm going to make a layer right there. So I'll even name it shadow. I'm going to take the pen and I'm just going to draw a very ugly square shape. Watch this. Click, click, click. So it's kind of like right there. See how I've now drawn that shadow? See how it's just a big rectangle on the ground, right? Okay. And I'm going to name it shadow. Now, I'm going to turn it into a selection by control clicking on it. Now, here's how I'm going to do this. So let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, let me put it up here. I'm going to hit the B key, right? I'm going to hold the Alt key and sample this dark brown. Not a blue, not a black, but the dark brown right there. Now I'm just going to fill it on this shadow layer. So make sure you're on the shadow layer and fill it. Alt backspace. Now, all we have to do, two things. With it deselected, we are going to Gaussian blur it. So we're going to Gaussian blur it until it has a nice feel to it, which is going to be, I think, about that much. It's almost like 20 pixels, 18 to 20 pixels. That looks good, see? Now, how do we make it blend with the background? We change the mode to multiply. Good. Now, Because it looks too dark, I'm going to remove a tiny bit of opacity, just like this, and now look at how pretty that Jeep is on the ground. Isn't that gorgeous? Now watch this movie a couple of times and you should have no problem. Okay, you did everything right with the paths. I just wanted you, and I'm going to go back to that file, I just wanted you to, I'm going to remind you, let me move this over. I just wanted you to make a new layer 2. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so remember the layer 2 had we used an eraser on the Jeep Cherokee name, on the Grand Cherokee name. I don't want you to do that. I want you to do it on a layer mask. So watch this a couple of times. Not a big deal. I think you'll be okay.